it holds 16 bits. Now we have uh, if you look at this closely, there's some mistake here. Okay, it ought to be the reverse of it. Okay, float is the 16 bit, while double is 32 bits. I have to reverse this. There should be a typo error when I was trying to get these values out. All right, so the as we see, double hold a larger value and float hold a lesser value. We can equate float to an int, okay, because they have the same size, and double to long because they are both of the same size, 32 bits, 16 bits. So if I'm going to declare a variable to be float, one interesting thing to note is this. If I say float float, say volume, volume, I would say 40.5 f. I should add f to it to tell Java that this is float and not double. If you don't put an f there, Java will say, hey, this is a double, and hey, this is float. And float, and the variable is volume, float data type, and is saying 40.5 as double. It's going to complain and say, hey, this is too big for this floating guy. Okay, as we go on again, we're going to understand how to compress and cast values and variable. We're just trying in this lesson and in this tutorial, we're just trying to look at how to declare identifiers and how to assign data type to them based on the value we want to assign to the identifier. Okay, let's go on. So those data types we've seen so far: the int, the short, the double, the float, the 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 floats here are all primitive data type. Okay, because in Java there are two types of data types. There are two types of data types. The first is primitive data types, and the second is the reference data type. Reference data type. Data type. Now, these data types, these reference data type are more or less called objects. Okay, they are same as objects. When we get to objects and classes, we'll be dealing with the reference data type. Okay, object and class, we're dealing with the reference data type in Java. Reference data types in Java. All right. Okay, so let's proceed. Um, Here we have literals. Literal. What are literals in Java? Literal refers to values that are assigned to identifiers or variable. Let's go back to our source program. Looking at this here, these are literals. 20.5, 40.5 are literals. Okay, they are literals. Damilola is a literal. Okay, the value you assign to an identifier is defined to be a literal, and the value you assign to an identifier is dependent on the data type of that identifier. So if I declare an identifier to be a string, meaning that I must assign a string literal to it. If I declare an identifier to be a byte or a double or an int or a float, I must assign the corresponding type to it, and whatever you assign to it is what is referred to as literals. Okay, literals. Okay, still more about literals. Here we have literals and we have string literals. String literals refers to strings. Okay, this is it here, strings. Strings, these are strings. Okay, and we denote strings with double quote. In Java, a string is defined to be declared in double quotes, not in single quotes. Okay, now we have string and we have character or char in Java. Okay, char in Java, okay, accepts only one character, and it is placed in single quotes. Here, for instance, looking at this char, I can say, okay, char, say my value is equal to single quotes. I'll put y there. Okay, just single quotes. That's character char. But for a string literal, it must be in double quote. Even if it's going to be a single value, okay, it must be in single quotes. All right. So, like I was saying, here we have char. Okay, data type in Java, still part of the primitive types in Java. Java has 8 primitive types, okay? 8 primitive types. And I told you earlier that there are two basic data types in Java, primitive data type and reference data type. Reference data type. We're going to look at reference data type some other time as we go through this lesson. Okay, my value is a char data type, and I told you that it takes a single character. If you put a double character, like maybe something like YOU or YES, this is going to be an error when you compile a Java program. Char accepts just one character, but for a string, it must have one or more character or even a blank character, but it must be within double quotes. Okay, it must be within double quotes. Compulsory must be within double quotes. Okay, my value. You can have a string like this is my value. Okay, there's a string literal. As a string is a string literal. You should not assign this to a char. No, you're gonna get an error. All right. Okay, let me quickly say this here. String is a data type. What data type is it? Can you guess? Is it a string, a primitive data type, or a reference data type? All right, let me tell you what it is. String is a reference data type. Okay, it is not part of the primitive data type. It is a reference data type in Java. Okay, I'm going to show you why it is a reference data type in Java very soon. Okay, just hold on and be patient. I'm going to explain more about the string data type. Okay, I think at this point I would like to want to show you something interesting. I think it's time we compile our first program in Java and see how it works. Okay, see how it works in Java. Okay.